Valmiki Ramayana, Bala Kanda, Book 1, Sarga 12, Canto 12. The sacrifice begun. Again the spring with genial heat, returning made the year complete. To win him sons without delay, his vow the king resolved to pay. And to Vashishta, saintly man, in modest words, this speech began. Prepare the rite with all things fit, as is ordained in holy writ, and keep with utmost care afar whate'er its sacred forms might mar. Thou art my Lord, my trustiest guide, kind-hearted, and my friend beside. So is it meet thou undertake this heavy task for duty's sake. Then he, of twice-born men the best, his glad assent at once expressed. Fain will I do whate'er may be desired, O honored King, by thee. To ancient priests he spoke, who trained in holy rites deep skill had gained. Here guards be stationed, good and sage, religious men of trusted age, and various workmen send and call, who frame the door and build the wall, with men of every art and trade, who read the stars and ply the spade. And mimes and minstrels hither bring, and damsels trained to dance and sing. Then to the learned man he said, in many a page of scripture read, be yours each rite performed to see, according to king's decree. In stranger Brahmans quickly call to this great rite that welcomes all. Pavilions for the princess decked, with art and ornament erect, and handsome booths by thousands made, the Brahman visitors to shade, arranged in order side by side, with meat and drink, and all supplied, and ample stables we shall need for many an elephant and steed, and chambers where the men may lie, and vast apartments, broad and high, fit to receive the countless bands of warriors come from distant lands, for our own people to provide sufficient tents extended wide, and stores of meat and drink prepare, and all that can be needed there. And food in plenty must be found for guests from all the country round. Of various viands presents make, for honor, not for pity's sake. That gift that fit regard and worship be paid to each caste in due degree, and let not wish or wrath excite your hearts to meanest guest to slight, but still observe with special grace those who obtain the foremost place, whether for happier skill in art, or bearing in the right they part. Do you, I pray, with friendly mind, perform the task to you assigned, and work the right as bids the law, without omission, slip, or flaw. They answered, as thou seest fit, so will we do and not omit. The sage Vasishta then addressed Sumantra, called at his behest, the princess of the earth in white, and famous lords who guard the right. Priest, warrior, merchant, lowly thrall, in countless thousands summon all, where'er they home be, far or near, gather the good with honor here. And Janak, whose imperial sway the men of Mithila obey, the firm of vow and dread of foes, who all the lore of Scripture knows. Invite him here with honor high, King Dasharatha's old ally, and Keshi's lord of gentle speech, who finds a pleasant word for each. In length of days our monarch's spear, illustrious king, invite him here. The father of our ruler's bride, known for his virtues far and wide. The king whom Kerkaya's realms obey, him with his son invite, I pray. And Lomapad, the Angas king, true to his vows, and godlike bring. For be thine invitations sent to west and south and orient. Call those who rule Shurashtra's land, Suvira's realm, and Sindhu's strand, and all the kings of earth beside, in friendship's bonds with us allied. Invite them all to hasten in, with retinue and kith and kin. Vasishta's speech without delay, Sumantra bent him to obey, and sent his trusty envoys forth, eastward and westward, south and north. Obedient to the saint's request, himself he hurried forth and pressed each nobler chief and lord and king to hasten to the gathering. Before the saint Vasishta stood, all those who wrought with stone and wood, and showed the work which every one, in furtherance of the right, had done. Rejoiced they rejoiced their ready zeal to see. Thus to the craftsmen all said he, I charge ye, masters, see to this, that there be nothing done amiss. And this I pray in mind be borne, that not one gift ye give in scorn. Whenever scorn a gift attends, great sin is his who thus offends. And now some days and nights had passed, and kings began to gather fast, and precious gems in liberal store, as gifts to Dasharatha bore. Then joy thrilled through Vasishta's breast, and thus the monarch he addressed. Obedient to thy high decree, the kings, my lord, are come to thee, and it has been my care to greet and honor all with reverence meet. Thy servant's task is ended quite, and all is ready for the rite. Come forth then to the sacred ground, where all in order will be found. Then Risha's ring confirmed the tale, nor did they words to move him fail. The stars' propitious influence lent, when forth the world's great ruler went. Then, by the sage Vashishta led, the priest began to speed those glorious rites wherein is shed the lifeblood of the steed. Jai Valmiki Ramayana. Footnotes 21.1. Called also Vidja, later Tira Bhukti, corrupted into the modern Tirhut, a province bounded on the west and east by the Gaudaki and Kaushiki rivers, on the south by the Ganges, and on the north by the skirts of the Himalayas. This was 21.1. The men of Mithila obey, and Janak's imperial sway. 21.1b. The celebrated city of Benares. See Dr. Hall's learned and exhaustive monograph in the Sacred City of the Hindus by the Rev. M.A. Sharing. This was 21.1b. And Kashi's lord of gentle speech, who finds a pleasant word for each. 21.2b. Kekaya is supposed to have been in Punjab, in the Punjab. The name of the king was Ashwapati, lord of horses, father of Dasharatha's wife Kaikeyi. 21.2b. The king from Kekaya's realms obey, him with his son in white I pray. 21.3b. Surats. Call those who rule Surashtra's land, Suvira's realm and Sindhu's strand, Suviras. Apparently in the west of India, not far from the Indus. Alright. Another beautiful chapter of Ramayana, Book 1, Bala Kanda, that talks about the invitation of all the kings and all the people from all around the world. It seems like these sacrificial pavilions are created at the spot, or erected at the spot. So it seems like there was nothing there, and all of a sudden they built the whole thing. So perhaps when we see these ancient structures in Greece, we see just like some columns and some lots of open areas around these structures. Perhaps these are the remnants how things look like back in Satya Yuga, when people were primarily doing animal sacrifices, out of which Ashwamedha Yagya is the most famous. Ashwamedha Yagya means the sacrifice of the horse. And anyway, just a thought. So it seems like many people from all around the world were eating different kinds of foodstuffs, so everything was prepared for each. So I guess some people eat meat, so meat was also available for them. Meat eating back then was much different than today. Back then, primarily was by hunting. primarily was by hunting. There was not an organized slaughter of animals like in Kali Yuga, and it's a satanic organized industry, globalist industry. You know, specifically cow slaughter. That's completely forbidden in Vedic culture. There were cow sacrifices uh, in Treta Yuga called Gomeda, Gomeda yagyas, but they were not for the purpose of eating meat. They were for the purpose of giving a new life to a cow. The cow would go from one end of fire, go through the fire, and exit on the other end as a new calf. And this was all done by the brahmanas who were highly skilled in proper pronunciation of the mantras. And nowadays, these kind of brahmanas cannot be found. They lost their virtue and their power, so that's why these kind of sacrifices are completely forbidden. Doesn't matter cows or horses. This kind of animal sacrifices in Kali Yuga are completely forbidden due to the lack of qualified people. Everybody in Kali Yuga lost their piousness, their virtues, and now everybody is sinful as fuck, they would say. And by this globally satanic animal slaughter industry, everybody has to reap the karma. Anyway, this is a beautiful chapter about a little insight what was going on back then in Satya Yuga. I'm sorry, Treta Yuga, 1.5 million years ago. Jai, Valmiki Ramayana ki jai. Ciao.